It's never done that before, has it? Did you guys hear it say this meeting is being recorded?
Yeah, we had to consent.
Oh, is that right? So I guess there's been some challenges with that. All right. Well, I'm glad that we can all consent. Actually, consent's a good thing. We don't want anybody to get embarrassed on a video and then have it posted on YouTube or something. That would be very sad. Okay, so let's get back to, so if we're in minor, the minor first part of minor is, but then we have four versions. We have the natural, we have the harmonic, and we have the melodic, which is raised going up but minor going down. So whenever we have a minor thing, we're taking dictation, we have to listen to it and say, wow, that sixth and seventh degree, are they going up? Are they going down? Are we melodic? Are we harmonic? And we've been practicing those scales. And so I will tell you right now that in the dictation we're about to take, the the it's in some form of minor, and it's there. Both parts are playing on piano, so I can't separate them. But I put them a couple octaves apart. And the trick is, above tonic is pretty straight ahead, but below tonic you have to hear the accidentals and try and figure it out. So we're in 4/4 time. We are in D minor. Let's go back to time signature. I'm sorry, 4/4 time, 4 measures long. 4 measures, 4/4. So set up your grids. Once your grid is set up, we are in D minor. For those of you who can't remember, D is the relative minor of F major. So figure out what your key signature is. The soprano part starts on a D at the top of the treble clef. D, so second line from the top, quarter note. The bass part starts on an F, second line from the top of the bass clef staff, quarter note. I can't separate them, but I'll play 4 times through while you focus on soprano, because it's 4 measures, it's long. And then we'll play 4 times through where you can focus on the bass. I will tell you that the rhythm in the soprano is straight ahead. Rhythm in the bass is a little trickier, hopefully only a little. Let's begin. First time around with the soprano in mind. Here we go. And remember, guys, do all your settings so you can hear. If you can't hear, stop me. Here we go. All right, the second time. Let's do a third time. And now let's do a fourth time. Okay, let's listen to the bass part now. First time through with the bass in mind. Second time. Third time. When you do it this last time, if you're having trouble, a couple hints. Listen for the last interval and see if you can figure out what that interval is. We've been doing some harmonic intervals. Also, there's a couple times where the bass doesn't move and the soprano does, and that will help you line things up. Listen, as the soprano moves and the bass doesn't, that tells you where you have half notes versus quarter notes. So those are both good things to listen for. And let's give it another shot. This is last time through. All right, let's reveal the answer. We've been stretching a little bit. This one's hard. And I don't want to pretend it's easy. We've got accidentals, we've got a lot of measures, we've got some ties. It's a little bit tricky. But let's take a look. So you notice in the soprano part, it's just quarter notes. I tried to take rhythm out of it so we could hear the accidentals. So we go to do, and then this is a leading tone, it's the sharp version. Ti, do, that's the sound of a leading tone. But then it goes natural going down. So we hear that the two C's are different. C sharp and C natural are different. And that tells us that we're in melodic minor. It's sharp going up, flatted going down. And then the third measure is identical to the first. So that we actually only have to get the first two measures right. And then we hear that that pattern, and that's the same. They both go to the same note. So it's really only a two measure dictation if we can hear the pattern. If we hear that that and that measure are the same. And then the trick is to catch the C sharp. So against the C natural, to hear that those two notes are not the same. They're the same space, but they're not the same note. Now the bass has two tricky parts. One is this half note before we go to the end. That's not so bad because you hit this note, then they end up together. This half note, or the tied quarter notes, is sort of a slow motion syncopation. That's a little tricky, but if you hear where they line up, you can get that. So listening to two voices at once is really very useful. But that's hard to do, but it's very useful. We open on the F, so this is all above tonics. We don't expect accidentals, we don't get any. There's one leap. This measure is very close to this measure. Forget the tie. This measure is very close to the first measure also. F, D, E, F, D, E. This one just goes down, and then we all end. The trick is to hear that octave. Although what we could also do is say we start on an F, hear the F, hear the F, hear the F, and then we hear tonic, the D, and the D, and then everything else is pretty close stepwise to the F and the D. So we hear some frames of reference, and then we put them together. Let's look at it, listen, and see if it all makes sense. And you know how this works. I'm just waiting for chat. Tell me how it went. Details or just numbers, don't really care, but send me something. And you can send it privately. Okay, that's a good score. Yeah. Okay. Waiting for one last response. Send me a note. All right, it doesn't seem to be forthcoming. So, guys, yeah. Well, we're going to allow some singing even when we get back in person. It's hard because we can't distract from people, so we have to do things sort of under our voice. But just like I move my fingers because I'm a pianist, and that's how I hear sound. People who sing, when their vocal cords move, that's how they hear sound. Our ears and our bodies are connected. And the idea that we're going to completely cut them off and just use our brains, that's just not going to happen. So don't worry, we'll find a way for you to be able to do that. This was a very hard exercise. What made it hard? Well, first of all, we had to hear the chromatics. Second of all, it's long, it's 4 measures. Third of all, the parts didn't move identically. Fourth, I couldn't separate them because I put them both in piano, so they're the same volume and the same timbre, the same color. So that meant it was hard to hear. And it's in minor, and minor is always harder than major. But I think we did pretty well considering this was a really hard assignment. And remember, I tried the exams either to be easier than the quizzes, than these discussions, By the way, you all get 100% on your quiz today because it's an attendance quiz. Either I try to make it easier, or if I make it harder, I curve it. So, this is as hard as it gets, and if you're doing 70% work, you're going to be just fine. I mean, it'd be great if we could hit 100%, but you'll be 80 when you do that, and you'll be proud of yourself. All right, that's our two-part dictation. That I picked a intentionally hard one. I thought let's really jump in, and now we're going to do a what am I going to do next? Where am I? Yeah, now we're going to do rhythm. And remember, we're working on this thing where we have triplets and 16. So before we start, warm yourself up, set a beat. It'll probably be very similar to the beat we just did. And think 1 and 2 and, or 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, or 1 2 3 4 1 E and a 1 E and a triplet, whatever words you use, right? Raspberry, triplet, 1 E and a 2 E and a. There's lots of possible words, but get the idea of moving from 3 to 4 so we hear things in terms of beats. I'll give you a few minutes to get warmed up, and then we're going to go do some listening. All right, warmed up or not, here we go. Our first rhythm is in 4/4, and it's 2 measures long. So set up a grid. All right, I'll play it 3 times. Let's hope the grids are set up. Here's first time around. If I go too fast, everyone shout. Tell me. Here we go, first time around. Let's do it again. One more time. And now the reveal. So here's our rhythm: quarter, 4/16, quarter, in a triplet, quarter, 4/16, quarter. If you keep the beat, it's 1 2 3 4 1 1 2 3 1. Let's listen to it, and then of course send me something in the chat. Tell me how you did. All right. Okay. Waiting for the last responder. All right, if that wasn't too bad, I'm ready. I can skip the next 4/4 and go on to a 3/4. But you guys tell me. Give me a thumbs up if you want me to skip the next 4/4 and go to 3/4. If it's going okay. If you like to do one more, then do an applause instead of a thumbs up. So you want to do one more in 4/4, give me applause. If you're ready to skip to 3/4, give me a thumbs up. All right, I got 2 that say skip, so we're skipping. All right, so the next one is in 3/4, and then we'll do some 6/8. All righty. So in 3/4, you've got 3 measures in 3/4. 3 measures in 3/4. So set up a grid for it. I'm going to make one quick change in it right now. Okay, here we go. First time around, do we have the grids ready? 3/4, 3 measures. Here we go, first time. Let's do it a second time. Here we go. One last time. Here comes the reveal. This one opened with the triplet. Now that syncopation, the second measure, throws us off. We did that same syncopation last time, and people seem to do okay with it. But I thought I'd try it again because I think it's tricky. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 1 and ba ba ba. So we listen to it. You can see it and listen. Hit me with the chat. Huh. Interesting answers. Okay, so for those of you who struggled, is it because it opened on a triplet? Send me a private note. Say yes or no if you were one of the people who struggled. Yeah, and so maybe I need to send the beat out in advance. You ba 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 ba, because you think there's got to be 2, and then you're thrown off. So is it clear now that you see it's a triplet? Can you hear the rhythm? Let me play it again while we look. And let me see if you can make this rhythm. So we know the beat is this. Ready? Here we go. Does it make it easier to see it now that we've seen it? Can we see how that rhythm works? Okay. So I think what I've got to do is start with a click track for a beat before, even as we're working in 3/4 and 4/4, because I think once we get the triplets, it's sometimes really hard to get it. So I'm going to set up a click track for the next one. Hold on a second. We're going to go into 6/8 now. I only have 1/3/4, but now I know that starting with a triplet is a particularly challenging thing for some of you, and I'm going to try to add click tracks, so that's all right. Now let's start that for the next one. I'll get a click track going. This is in 6/8, so you're only going to get 2 clicks. Give me a second. All right, I'm almost there, everyone. Okay. Still almost there. It's taking me a little longer to type than I thought. Okay, so you're going to see 2 beats, which will give you the beats in these dotted quarter notes in 6/8, and then you'll have 4 measures of 6/8. 4 measures of 6/8. So set up that grid. Now, one other word of warning. I'll play this 3 times. There is a rest in it. We have not done rest because duration is hard, but I think the rest will be obvious, but it can easily throw you off. So, I mean, really can easily throw you off. So let's start it. You have 1 measure with 2 clicks first in the bass clef, and then the actual rhythm will appear in the next measure in the treble clef. Here we go. Up. And so now, here we go. That's pretty fast. We'll try it a second time a little slower. Let's do it a third time, and I will do it a fourth time. There's a lot of notes in this one. Here's the third time. And one last time. And finally, the grand reveal. So here's our rhythm. Is that 1, 2, 3? This is the one we got the 2/16 in the middle. One da da da, and then our usual 6/8 rhythm. Ba beep beep. This is the trick. There's nothing on the beat. So there's a rest. If you'd written a tie, it's just as good, but the rest is what's actually written. It doesn't matter. But there's nothing on the beat. And then one ba ba ba. So if two of the 3/8 notes play, but the downbeat is missing. So this is the trick. This is hard, 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 but we have to get used to rest too. One done. So rest can have the same value as notes. So now we've seen it. Let me play it, and then I'll look forward to your comments. Comments. Here we go. Good. Good. Okay. Okay. So it was funny. Last time, I think the 6/8 was easier than the 4/4. This time, I think people are finding it a little harder. And I don't know if it's the rest in there or the bum, 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 bum. But I think we have to practice little 6/8 as we go. I'll just remember that. And if you have a chance to practice it on your own. But that's the first time we've thrown a rest or a rest on a beat in any of our dictations. So that could easily throw you for a loop. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do a little bit. I will not put a rest on an exam for this quarter, but it wouldn't hurt us to practice it a little bit to get ready for life in the future. Okay. Let's go to our scales. Now remember our scales, and I'll just play them as if I'm in C major. We have the major scale. I have to share the sound so you can hear it. I'll just remind you, we have the major scale, and we have the mixolydian, which sounds just like major at the bottom. But that seventh degree is flat, and we get that big leap, no leading tone. We also have our natural minor, which has a version of it where we sharp the whole top called melodic minor, or sharp just part of the top, which is the harmonic minor. And then if we sharp the 6 instead of 7, we get the Dorian mode. So we have no leading tone, but we have a sharp note. That's the Dorian mode. So those are the sets of scales we've been trying to work on. And so I've put them all in here. And let's just see if we can hear them. That's just a review of them. And again, it doesn't hurt to review those modes. They will follow you through life. But let's just start them. And I'm going to play each of these twice and just write down what mode it is, and then we'll go through it. So here's the first scale. Second time. Next scale. Let's hear that one again. Next scale. Let's hear that one again. Next scale. Let's hear that one again. Another scale. One more time. And the last scale. And let's hear that one again. Okay, it's time for the reveal. So the first scale is a Dorian scale. We can see because we think G minor, it looks like minor there, and then instead of having an E flat, it has an E natural. So we've sharp 6, but we've left 7 flat, and it sounds like this. So the raised 6 and the flat 7. Now the next scale is just major. That's just B major scale, and we can hear that. Scale after that one is a natural minor. And how can we tell? We come to the top, it's flat, flat, so there's no leading tone, and a half step there, so it's just natural minor. Yeah. Now this one is Mixolydian, and Mixolydian has that major bottom, and you think you're in major, and then the last, second to last note is flatted. It just seems a little weird. And so here we hear Mixolydian. Harmonic minors next with that leap at the end, that augmented second. And because I'm that kind of a person, I haven't yet played a melodic minor, so you can sort of guess it. But you see that the top looks just like A major. Everything's sharp. So it's a major top, minor bottom. That's the melodic minor. And there we go. All right. Give me a hint. Let's see the chats. Yeah, Dorian is a brand new one for us. We've only done it once or twice before. We'll have to practice it. It's it's minor and minor, and you'd think that would be minor, but but none of the minor versions have minor on the top. So it's a little so we have to get used to hearing it. Any other comments? And so let me just quickly review Dorian. So imagine, let me see, where are my tools on this thing? There they are. So you can't see it. Let's go back to where Dorian is. Okay. So here's G minor. Sorry. If I ever played E flat, it's G minor. So in a minor scale, there's three versions, right? It's minor to bottom. And then it can be Phrygian at the top, this weird natural minor. It can be major at the top. That's melodic minor, or it can have that weird leap. But if it's minor at the top, that's Dorian mode. That's the weird one. Where you have that whole step, but then there's no leading tone. And so it's odd that the only minor scale that's got minor and minor in it is actually not a minor scale, it's Dorian. You'd think minor would be minor and minor, but it's not. So that's just a practice to get Dorian. It takes a little bit of work to hear that Dorian, and we'll practice that, spend some more time on it. All right. And then we're going to do some chords, but I think we are out of time. So tomorrow we'll have regular class. I appreciate your patience, everybody, and I appreciate your hard work. You all just got 100% on a quiz because it's an attendance quiz. Yay! And as far as that goes, we're done for the day. So everybody have a lovely day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.